To our class today, we are continuing with laws of indices. In the operation of indices, there are some rules governing the operation, and those rules is what we want to look at this afternoon. The very first one is product or multiplication rule. Law 1, product or multiplication law. What does this law say? Of product or multiplication says that a raised to the power m times a raised to the power n equal to a raised to the power n plus n. A raised to the power n times a raised to the power n equal to a raised to the power m plus n. What this means is that when two numbers with equal bases are multiplied, their powers are being added. For example, if you have, let's say, 2 raised to the power 3 times 2 raised to the power 4, 2 raised to the power 3 times 2 raised to the power 4 is simply what? 2 raised to the power 3 plus 4, giving us 2 raised to the power 7. That is 3 plus 4 is 7. Similarly, 3 raised to the power 3 times 3 raised to the power 2 is equal to 3 raised to the power 3 plus 2, giving us 3 raised to the power 5. That is what the product or multiplication law is all about. What about in a situation where two different numbers are being multiplied? What do we do in such a scenario? What we need to do is to collect the factors as a single group. Taking, for instance, you have 2 raised to the power 3 times 3 raised to the power 2 times 2 raised to the power 5 times 3 raised to the power 4. This is simply what? You take them as a group, 2 raised to the power 3 times 2 raised to the power 5 times 3 raised to the power 2 times 3 raised to the power 4. Now 2 raised to the power 3 plus 5 times 3 raised to the power 2 plus 4, giving us 2 raised to the power 8 times 3 raised to the power what? 7. That is how we do it when two different numbers are involved. We are done with that. The next law is quotient or division law. Quotient or division law. Quotient or division law. What does the law say? A raised to the power m divided by a raised to the power n equal to a raised to the power m minus n. When two numbers with equal bases are being divided, the power of the divisor is being subtracted from the power of the dividend. Example, we have, let's say, 2 raised to the power 5 divided by 2 raised to the power 3. How are we going to get about that? It's simply what? 2 raised to the power 5 divided by 2 raised to the power 3 equal to 2 raised to the power 5 minus 3, giving us what? 2 raised to the power 2. It's as simple as that. Let's continue with the next law. The next law is power law or use of brackets. That is number 3. Power law or use of brackets. Here the law says that if a raised to the power m raised to the power n is this, a raised to the power m times n. If a certain number is raised to a power and again raised to another power, the powers are being multiplied to get the final result. So this law is called the power law or use of bracket. Let's look at one simple example. Let's say you have 2 raised to power 3 raised to power 4. Solution: 2 raised to power 3 raised to power 4 is simply what? 2 raised to power 3 times 4, giving us 2 raised to power 12. As simple as that. Let's quickly look at another law. Index as reciprocal of a number. Here, the law says that a raised to power 1 over x equal to the square root of a. This is what the law says here. Now, x to the square root of a, that is a raised to power 1 over x is equal to x to the square root of a. Recall that the reciprocal of x is 1 over what? X. Now let's just look at one example to understand what we're saying here. If you have, let's say, 4 raised to power half, if you're asked to solve this using a reciprocal of a number, solution: 4 raised to power half is equal to root 4. To get this, you ask a question, or you ask yourself, what is that number that will multiply itself 2 times to give you 4? And that number is 2. That means you have 2 raised to power 2. Therefore, the answer, let's clean this side of the board. The answer is 2. What if you have something like this, 81 raised to power 4? This is, you have this. You check again, what number will multiply itself 4 times to give you 81? That means it should be 3 raised to power 4. Therefore, our answer is 3. That is how we do index as reciprocal of a number. Another one is index as fraction. Index as fraction. Index as fraction. What does this law say? Index as fraction. A raised to power n raised to 1 over n equal to the square root of a raised to power n. A raised to power n raised to power 1 over n equal to this. Example, if you have, let's say 4 raised to power 3 over 2. Let's solve this example. 4 raised to power 3 over 2. Solution: 4 raised to power 3 over 2 is this. You come again. What number will multiply itself 2 times to give us 4? This is what? 2 raised to power 2 raised to power 3. Since our answer is 2 here, remember there's a power here raised to power 3, giving us what? 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8. The answer here is